People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, it's a slow landscape for most football news. I mean, what I've seen today is Paul Pogba and Souness going at it. Not directly, I've seen... It weren't even in a negative way, realistically, that Paul Pogba spoke on Souness. He said he heard he's a good player, but he don't know him. To which you obviously seen Sky getting on it. I don't really want to focus on it. We all know that's neither here nor there. In relation to Arsenal and the whole wage thing, there's been little progress allegedly, and The Athletic has made a follow-up report, and, I've gone through what I felt is the takeaways and the relevant bits. So let's just get into it, people. Now, for some backstory, long story short, and some key points, apparently some players agreed to it, some players didn't. The PFA, which is, the sort of union, if you don't know who they are for footballers, has advised them not to take any cuts, not just Arsenal, but widespread. And also, it does feel like, based on this, which confirmed what I said in the last video, it feels like agents are being froze out of this. Now, naturally, people, you've got to imagine, if you had an investment advisor and there was an investment company and they're telling you why you should do so, it's not exactly the same, but why you should do several things. You might listen to it, but would you not want your advisor who's skilled in this sort of thing to be in the room? And it does feel like clubs are pulling a bit of a fast one, trying not to have agents involved so they can swindle players and kind of skip out the agent's input and go straight to the players and kind of play on their heartstrings. And players are finally waking up, if they knew already, that why should they take, again, they have nothing wrong with taking pay cuts, but why should they take pay cuts when you've got a billionaire owner, in Arsenal's case, when you've got a billionaire owner that's not invested anything, that's seen his shares and his value of this club double? People can sit here and say FFP to their blue in the face, and I get that, it is an issue, but I think that UEFA would have to tread very carefully. I do not think there would be any sanctions if not just Arsenal's billionaire owner, but anyone wanted to inject funds that are directly going to benefit the club in some way within reason in relation to the epidemic that we're all suffering from worldwide, whether you're not suffering in terms of you've got the illness, society and the economic footprint, especially in England and many economies, is hanging on by a thread. We're on the brink of a recession in many nations. You just got to go and look at things. All you have to do is look at the savings, the confidence of consumers. It's not really good, sort of thing. But we're going off topic. I don't think FFP, if UEFA was, if Conke was to invest his own money, and by normal reasons FFP would have something to say, I don't think they would get involved because this is extraordinary circumstances. And if they did, they would face a backlash, like you're seeing with a lot of clubs. I think so. I think players are not for France again. Players will take pay cuts, but I do think you've really got to look at the billionaire owners. You really got to look at them, people. It doesn't make sense. And again, at base level, employees saving employees, it don't make sense. It's the owners that benefit when times are going well, when Arsenal's which our match day revenue has gone down, obviously, but when we're getting this record match day revenue, kits are coming out, they're reaping the rewards. It's time to, you can't always have the sun, you've got to have the rain sometimes. But moving away from that though, people, Bellerin, who on behalf of the Arsenal squad is our PFA member, or a member of the PFA. Well, they're all members of the PFA, but he goes and deals with the stuff on behalf. Apparently, when Bellerin relayed the Arsenal hierarchy's proposal to cut players' wages if they failed to qualify for Europe to his teammates, his message received a decidedly mixed response. It is understood players were invited to reply, either with a tick or a cross, despite the issues of such a delicate proposal. Now, away from this, the club probably are being a bit crafty. We know for years we've had a serious wage issue in terms of the wages not necessarily matching the quality of players, and we've got an even bigger imbalance. We've got players on big deals that have a year or two to run, so there's not really any force for you to get them through. It's not sustainable if we're not getting Champions League, with potential TV rights and things are in issues. The health of the club is good, depending on how you look at it, is also concerning, and the club probably seeing this as an opportunity to kind of get the numbers down, sort of thing, people. So yeah, man. But several did respond to Bellerin, the club's PFA representative. They suggested they'd be willing to accept proposed cuts. This would see the squad, miss out on an extra 12.5% of their total earnings. In addition, the financial penalties already written into their contracts, which is as much as 25% cut in some cases should they fail to qualify. So they're going to be losing even more peas. A similar proportion of the squad, however, rejected the plan, which needed to be accepted collectively to be pushed through. The players' clear preference is for a deferral rather than a cut, with the initial proposal from the squad being delay receiving around 20% of earnings while football is suspended. They also want guarantees that players who agree to defer a percentage of their salary would get their money back if they are sold this summer. And I mean, that could be very much be a Bamian. So, and you're entitled to go after that. At the end of the day, it's their piece. The players are also seeking assurances that any savings will be used to preserve the jobs of other club employees and pay them 100% of their wages. So players have no issue, but the players are not stupid. The players have no issue donating and doing other things away from this. But, you know, if they're taking cuts, their owner's not doing nothing, their potential staff on the hierarchy aren't taking cuts, they're going to be looking around like, yo, well gone, what's going on here? It's a bit booky, sort of thing. Some of the squad want to see ownership contribute financially too if the players are to do so, but it has been relayed to them that such a prospect is complicated by financial fair play rules. And if you really want to do it, there's a way around everything. And like I said, I don't work for UEFA, I'm no finance man, but I'm pretty sure, just as a fan, given the circumstances, if an owner really wanted to do this, if he really wanted to, it can be done. They've got employees that can find loopholes if need be and do things like you lot know with football clubs. They'll exploit. There's always any rule that comes. Clubs work even quicker to exploit these things. Look at the furlong scheme, exploited, and many other things exploited. And they should. The players don't live in a bubble. How often do they see Josh and let me not get into Josh, Stan Kroenke, and they're looking at him? You're never about what piece is coming out of your team. Do you get it? So it makes sense, people. They're fully within that. Despite an expectation that these regulations will be relaxed to help clubs contend with the coronavirus crisis, they currently remain in place. For their part, the club would prefer a cut in order to enable them to plan for the future with greater certainty and flexibility. If they were to agree to such a deferral, The Athletic understands Arsenal would expect it to be a considerably higher rate than the 20% currently proposed by the players. So then you hear the club's real intent is to just balance out the books better, take down wages and make sure funds can be distributed elsewhere. We're getting to the base of it now. We're using this potentially as an opportunity to do what we need to do from a sporting perspective, which is cut these wages, move us away from this, but move players on and do several things like that. It's just like politicians, when something happens and a politician might be speaking on Newsnight and things, but they have a personal agenda that they're trying to push. Football pundits, football staff are not no different. Naturally, this does not sit well with certain members of the squad, either who don't understand why Arsenal are proposing cuts before they know the full extent of the financial damage the club is due to suffer, again a good point, or how long any such agreement is likely to last, another great point. Some among the player staff also believe Arsenal's strategy of negotiating directly with players and excluding players' representatives was designed to help the club push through the proposals more easily. It is now accepted as inevitable that agents will be drawn into these discussions, as they should be, because you can't look at this with a dim view. You cannot, and you can see how clubs play. Not saying footballers are not smart, but they're professional footballers. They're not financial advisors. If you put any contract, whether it's a mortgage, any sort of legal agreement, if you put it to the most men or women or whatever of adult age to comprehend these things, they'll be able to read it. They'll be able to understand the bulk of it. They might even be able to find holes. But are they skilled with saying, nah, you're saying this, so this means this is going to happen, sort of thing? And it's not. And you can see how players can get twined, get zanged, and get into a position which is going to harm them really and truly. So I do think agents should be here, people. I know agents get demonized and things, but it's just like any advisor. Arsenal have additionally asked the squad to donate a week's wages to contribute meeting the salary of the lower paid club staff. Arteta has explained this proposal to the squad, and they are minded to consent to it. Although there is still no formal agreement, the club are still attempting to get players to come to a collective decision, but similarly, talks between clubs at Premier League level over a universal pay agreement. Discussions are more likely to have taken place on an individual basis. This will slow the process down, given the involvement of additional parties such as agents and lawyers. And you should fully have agents and lawyers in there, because what if they say, yeah, we'll pay you, we'll cut this, we'll pay you when it needs to come. You then look at your contract once it's signed or whatever, and it said, no, the club have said we're going to pay you for it, we're going to pay you over 10 years, or we're going to pay you whatever, or we're not going to match it in line with inflation, or we're going to do these smart little things, people. These are the things that the players have to be careful of. And again, from a moral perspective, I don't have any doubt of any player's integrity. I think they have no issue donating, if not necessarily money, time, setting up little things, doing other things. But in relation to the club's issues, they need to fully comprehend this, and they fully need to take their time. And I believe they're fully right in not making any haste decisions. That's just my humble opinion. But for now, people, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching.